Hey everybody, Super Vader 400 here, Mr. Super Vader 400 here, Douglas Blair Roberts, the brown skin human, coming back at you with another series of video rants. And this is my various rants. This is another various rants on pro-blacks, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, those type of things. Though Black Lives Matter, Me Too, feminist garbage, and multiple other stuff going on, multiple other current and past events. This is a new video intro. This is a new video intro since I've seen them misplace my other ones. I forgot to save and archive it for later. So instead of just going through, I didn't feel like going through my folders to find it. So I decided just to make a brand new intro. Since my dad's wife was here last time and is here this time, I was kind of silent in my previous defund the police rant, and my other Patricia Cullors, Black Lives Matter co-founder, being exposed rant. I was kind of silent. I was kind of speaking softly and silently. You couldn't be as loud, crazy as I want to be because there are other people in this house right now, and I keep trying to remember to do it at night, but I'm always tired from everything I'm doing during the day. So here's another intro in a much louder and a much better version, and this will be the intro for all future videos. So with that being said, you want to hear the rest of the. With that being said, let's get this party started right now. Let's show these groups and these people just what I'm made of.
Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. You simple curiosity, trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Like a million faces, I've recognized them all.
Alright, it's time for the second part of my off-camera rant on my parents, legal guardians, and arrogant, unsupportive, deadbeat, hood rat parents and legal guardians. Of course, since about the early, the early 2000s, since about the early to mid to late 2000s, I've had issues with my parents, and since about 2010 and 2015 through 18 all the way to March 2021, my dad's newest wife, the ultimate bane of my existence, because this person isn't even my family, family. Now, to keep it real, everything since March of this year, for the most part, has been okay. There hasn't been any fighting since, but there's still, but you know me, there's still animosity between myself and the rest of my family, at least on my side, and
and my dad's wife, the worst one, continues to do things watching, such as constantly bringing negativity and negative vibes my way, turning on the garbage George Floyd, Derek Chauvin trial. It was Friday, Disney Channel premiere night, and I was having a good day. Then I had to have my dad's wife come here with her. First off, instead of watching the television in her room, she comes up here. She comes up here in the room next to me and watches the television. I gotta hear this George Floyd, Derek Chauvin trial. I don't want to watch that. Nobody wants to hear about that. I'm sick of hearing about garbage like that, man. Then we gotta watching other stuff, reading about hurricane season, category storms. Nobody wants to hear about that stuff. Nobody wants to hear about that garbage either. Just constantly bringing negative vibes my way, and just doing bunches of other things. Constantly screwing up the password, which causes everyone to be locked out of the internet, and just doing various bad things. Various bad things. Next is so yeah, other things I can't stand about my dad's wife. The next thing I can't stand about her. One thing I'm sick of. One thing I can't stand about her. She's fat. She's fat. I cannot stand fat people, especially fat ass women, especially fat ass black women who 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 approach people, fat ass loudmouth, fat ass black people who are as disgusting as you know what, constantly walking around talking like they're somebody, like they're the shit, like they're cool, like they're uncool. If I was that big and looked the way they do, I would be quiet for the rest of my life. Coming around here. Then another thing, they have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to not only talk and walk around with an attitude, they got the audacity and the gall to mock and make fun of other people, particularly skinny people. I was just watching Tommy Sotomayor hours earlier, and he said you encounter a bunch of fat women who have always something negative to say about normal size, about normal skinny or normal size women, and make them feel horrible. These SOBs be fat, stinky as hell. Another reason I can't stand her. They be stinky as hell, yet they constantly talk about other people and other people's BO. Other people's BO. Have you seen their body? Have you smelled their body? Or it is worse because they're big. They're bigger. They're bigger, so the BO is even worse. Then they make the BO even worse by putting on all this spray, putting on all of these sprays, which makes the odor even more unpleasant, man. Even more unpleasant. It makes my dad's wife even more unapproachable. But this woman has the audacity to talk about my hygiene, my room, my hair and stuff, being as fat as you know. You don't know how embarrassing it is waking up every day, going outside, and then this woman, this big roly-poly woman, walking outside every day. It's so embarrassing. I gotta remind people, no, my mother is from my biological mother is from somewhere else. This is my dad's newest wife. Yeah. Everything terrible about black people, women, and people in general is my dad's wife. One of the worst and most unpleasant people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. there hasn't been much now apart from, like I said, the negativity. Most of the stuff I hate her for is things she's done between 2018, between 2019, 2021, and before, before March of 2021. Nothing she's done. No, she hasn't done anything recently. But I'm just one of those people who holds grudges, who loves retaliating, and when I don't retaliate, I hate myself for it. So that's why the reason I'm making these videos. I added rants. I added rants on politics, personal issues, vendettas and feuds with other people, and men's rights activism to my rants from now on. They go alongside my various entertainment rants and reviews. So that's why I'm making this video, and this is just a longer off-camera version, since the previous ones were long webcam versions, kind of boring, just standing up there on a webcam. So from now on, a lot of these will be off camera, but the end will probably be the end of this video will be webcam. Anyway, so yeah. But what I can't stand the most, what is worse than my dad's wife? No one is worse than my dad's wife. But what is worse than my dad's wife? Men standing up and defending women like that instead of shaming them, exiling them, and disassociating yourself from them, which is what I always did up until high school. My dad basically forced me to be friends and accept trash like that. I can't stand loudmouth, arrogant, ghetto, troublemaking women who are always messing things up for other people, and always walking around thinking they're cute. I was another reason I hate him, is he raised me on the Christian bullshit. I can't physically retaliate against women and people who wrong you, but you can talk. I can talk trash and bury and destroy them, like the YouTube personalities Tommy Sotomayor and many more. I could do that, but I couldn't do that because my dad raised me on that Christian garbage. I follow a different religious path now, but raised me on that Christian garbage, so I couldn't talk trash and hurt them like they hurted me. So I just had to sit up there and kind of just take it. Then not only what's worse than taking it is you had to sit up here and let people I'm not afraid of, just to stay out of trouble, because schools have the no tolerance policy, and then my parents always took the side of my enemies. I gotta sit there and I just gotta accept them in my friend circles. Be nice and keep my cool. Be nice around people I do not like. And more important, not only like, but not afraid of. And stay on the good side of these people who I'm not afraid of, and would love to fight, and would love to pound into the ground if I ever needed to. But I had to do this. I had to do this to stay out of trouble. It was Tommy Sotomayor who reawakened the hatred I have for black women and women in general. I'm pretty sure I'm talking about this in a Afro-American race. I'm pretty sure it's in other races too. But the worst type of women, the worst type of people is black women. And what I can't stand the most is simps. People like my dad, people like my uncle, and my late granddaddy, standing up for these women, letting them walk around thinking they're someone, letting them be in charge, letting them get away with stuff like, my mom put my dad on child support, took money from him in a divorce, and to this day my dad still protects and defends my mom whenever me and my mom have a fight, and the vice versa goes with my mom and dad which call, but I'll say that when I get to my own biological mom. Next, this is something everyone in my family this is something not only my dad's wife, but everyone in my family and everyone in my family. I see this a lot with black people. Black and brown based people think you can, they have this thing where they can make all kinds of racist jokes, or they can say what they want to anybody, but because of their rank or their position or skin color, whatever, under no circumstances they can say and do what they want. They can F with people, they can screw with and F with people, fuck with people, but under no circumstances can you retaliate against them. And you retaliate and defend yourself, you're considered wrong. You're considered wrong. This is why whenever cops kill you in the streets, whenever cops kill brown people in the streets, I am never on your side, and I'm always on their side, because it's karma. Because you're always messing with people, you're always trying people, you're always fucking with people, and as you can see, people are getting sick of it and start getting aggressive with you guys. I want white people to be even more aggressive and more brutal with you. So no, that's the second problem. That's the next problem I have. That's the next problem I have. Next problem I have, my dad going back to the friendship thing. One thing I can't stand is bad enough we let our enemies, people who wrong us, constantly get away. But what's even worse is forgiving them and excusing their actions that they knowingly did. They knowingly did. My dad did this too, along with the females. My dad pretty much my dad and the school's no tolerance policy. When it comes to the no tolerance policy, they don't care who hit who started it, who hit who. Both of you are being suspended. Both me and the person involved are being suspended. So here's my dad. Here comes my dad. Here comes what's his name? Here comes my dad. Here comes my dad. Here comes my dad, because my dad was friends with troublemakers. And here's another thing I'm mad about. When it comes to school, when I was in school, once again, I disassociated myself from the troublemakers, the loudmouth class clowns. And when I was younger, I even tried fighting them. I had to stop doing that because I kept talking trash and getting my butt kicked. So I had to stop doing that and just disassociate yourself and continue to do me and forget about them. Yeah, here comes my dad. Here comes my dad, because he was friends with losers, troublemakers like this. He was friends with loudmouth losers, troublemakers who weren't going to be anything, troublemakers. So what he did, he forced me to like them by, once again, when I got into situations with them, when I got into disputes with them, always taking their side. So pretty much with my mom and dad enabling the bully. So you like to hear stories how parents are there for your kids. Well, my parents weren't there for me when I had problems with these bullies and with these teachers. The teachers were even the worst. They would say they'd be on their side, but they will always be on their side, because adults and women especially stick together. Something I had to learn the hard way. And because of this, when it comes to our parents, it's business, sports, jobs, shopping, emergencies, anything important in a fight, and a quote unquote fight. No socializing, no fun zone, because I'm so mad, and I'm mad it took me so long to do it. And the reason I didn't handle it back then when it comes to my parents is because I think this is with most people. We need our parents for multiple things. It feels good when we talk trash, beat up our parents, but then again, you're gonna need that same parent later. Yeah, that's the next problem. Then what else? What else? So then you got then next is a wrestling story. Back in 2008, throughout 2007 and 8, and actually throughout my entire career since about 2006, Coach did nothing but undermine my abilities, disrespect me, and finally stood up to him. One day staged a fight. The fight was real, but I did something which would cause the other guy to fight me. We fought. Coach broke it up. I got crazy from from being in a fight for the first time in a while. Always chose, unfortunately, had to choose the walk away path. Finally, I got to let loose and throw hands. Then my coach can come up here and interrupt the action. I told my coach what I thought about him. I gave him the middle finger, and finally, I hope to get my release from the team, because not only did I want off the team because of my pride, because I wasn't the top guy. I wasn't the top guy anymore, but I also wanted off the team because I didn't want to lose in front of the coach. I didn't want to lose in front of the school. So lose in front of the school like I did the previous year again. So I did everything in my power. If I wasn't the top guy, to do everything in my power to make sure I was off that team. And at first I got my wish. Then it went from being kicked off the team to being suspended from the team. But I accepted the first one, kicked off the team, because I had no intentions of ever returning. I returned at one match that I thought my dad was going to be at, that he didn't show up at. Then later refused to return until my teammates, whom, despite my hatred of the team, I still respected my teammates. It was mostly the coach, who the coach is the team. Without him, there was no wrestling team there. It was my coach who started a new wrestling team. It was my coach. It was my coach who started a new. It was my coach who restarted the wrestling program at my high school. My high school got rid of it due to poor win-loss record. So so when I say I hate the team, I'm talking about my head coach and a couple of members. And finally felt good. So I decided, instead of paying dues and working my way like I used to, I had a new strategy of demanding what I want. So you give me what I want, or I quit and go home. So here comes my dad, and then the big time school match. Now, I was initially going to go home. Then I thought about my fans, who I also respected, and my teammates, and I decided to come back and win one final match against them for my fans and the teammates I did respect. My dad, and it grinds my gears to this day. My dad had the unmitigated gall, the audacity to sit up there, interfere in my spotlight after it was over, rain on my parade, and make me forgive my coach. I absolutely can't stand that. Until this day, I've been mentally insane since. I will always detest and despise my dad for that garbage, man. I don't care what good deed he does, man. That was inexcusable. To sit up there and rain on my parade, interfere in my spotlight, and force me to forgive the coach. And because of that, I'm back on a team I didn't want to be on. I'm back with a leader, a coach I don't agree with or respect, and I'm back, and then I'm back to losing. Then he cost me the championship too. Well, another reason I quit, because I was only competing I also saw that my skills were nowhere near as good as my various rivals' skills, and I came to be the best. At the time, I came to be the best. I came to be a champion. Don't really care much now, because I didn't want to be on the team anymore. But I came to be the best, and I went there, wrestled, underestimated my opponents and chances of victory, ended up losing both times. And once again, so costing me the championship too. Because of that, don't hang out with, or don't socialize with them. Then there's so much more. And then speaking of more, then one thing I cannot stand with black and brown people, and liberals and politicians in general, and overly religious people, shoving your politics shoving your religious beliefs and shoving your shoving, in this case, racial supremacy, especially black supremacy, down my throats, man. Down my throats for years. Get motivated, making me hate white people, teaching me to hate white people, teaching me victimhood, teaching me victimhood. Then once again, one thing I cannot stand with pro-blacks, being so pro-black, all you being so pro-black, all you do is curse at, talk trash to, and destroy other black, destroy and hold down other black people. You never see them, never see them fighting other white people. Never see them fighting other white people. All they do is oppress other black people and attack who don't agree with or share their ideology. Then what else? Oh yes, not being unsupportive. I cannot stand unsupportive parents. He's more supportive now, but he wasn't a couple of months ago. He was only supportive after my mom convinced him to. Not when I tried to. So yeah, unsupportive and constantly. And another thing I can't stand is adults and people constantly talking about things they know nothing about, in the process providing false information that messes me up. So yeah. Next is then the religious belief. I hate Christians, and one of the main reasons is my dad. You wouldn't believe this. Back in early 2002, I was quote unquote grounded and put on punishment. Now, let me tell you all the reasons kids get grounded and what I was grounded for. Kids get grounded for staying out late. I wasn't doing that. Wasn't even fighting with my sister, which is another thing I used to be grounded for. Wasn't even fighting with my sister. Sister was doing well in school, and everything else, every other good thing a kid should do. I was grounded because I slept in church and didn't learn, and of course missed the church lesson. Then multiple times when I was younger, my dad had the audacity to sit up there when I didn't want to go to church or had an attitude about being in church. Nobody wants to go to church every day, constantly saying stuff. Oh, I disgraced the Lord. Then when I got older and discovered things like Wikipedia, I tried to look everything up. When I discovered Wikipedia, and Wikipedia spoke about Jesus and God based upon beliefs. They didn't confirm his existence, but the website didn't deny his existence either. It was all based upon your religious beliefs and faith in various cultures. That's what it was about. So I for years, because I was angry, went to bed angry, went to bed sad because I disgraced a guy who I wasn't sure even existed, quote unquote existed. This would lead to a huge hatred of adults, Christians and other stuff, and a huge hatred of church. In more recent years, before departing again, I most recently returned to church, but yeah, that's led to a deep hatred for adults and Christians in general, and overly religious people, man. Religious people. So yeah, that's another reason. Then even one time playing to something I like, I told that when I was as an adult, I told him I didn't want to go to church, and I had various other reasons, real legitimate reasons for not going to church. But they're gonna sit up there and play to something I like. I used to go to the pro wrestling matches here in Georgia. There's several small pro wrestling companies here in Georgia. I used to go to one of the bigger ones back in the early to mid 2010s. Used to go to these big time shows. I thought he liked going too. My dad gonna sit up there, and try to make this a bargain thing where, oh, in exchange for me for him taking me to these wrestling shows, oh, I gotta go back to church despite my insistence, despite my reasons for not going to church. For that, I absolutely despise and detest what's his name. God wants me to work with the people I can't stand and wants me to make something of my life. So that's why, what's his name. But if you ever see me on the news, me in jail, or I go a long time and no video activity, it's because of a fight with these guys. That's how personal it is. And then next, that's how personal it is. Then you got my mom. My mom is more supportive of my dad, which is why I chose to originally live with her during the divorce. But she's just like my dad and my dad's wife. Not as bad as my dad's wife, but still pretty bad. Everything is fine now, but I still have animosities for everything she did between the early to mid 2000s, all the way through June of 2020. Divorcing my dad, putting him on child support, constantly filing lawsuits, and over relying on other people for money, which I didn't know about at the time. She doesn't do much of that anymore. But that's something that I was hugely embarrassed about, and still kind of am. Don't hang out with a lot of people because of that. Just being a tyrannical, just like most single mothers, being a overly tyrannical bitch. And one time, me and my mom got into a fight after a huge argument. In a huge argument, my mom gonna put her hands on me. Now I didn't have to throw a temper tantrum. My mom gonna put her hands on me multiple times. Then when I threw a temper tantrum, I'm gonna get scared and run into the bathroom, just like my enemies at school did. No wonder she defended them. She was just like them. A person who, my mom is a person who likes to constantly try other people. But when they violently retaliate, it's a problem. She wants to get scared and run away. It's a problem. Or find the nearest strongest person. And I'm mad at my late granddaddy, my uncle, and my dad for protecting that, especially my dad, who my mom did the most harm to. Then my mom, finally, when I was starting to side with my mom during a fight with my dad and his wife, who my mom also doesn't like. My mom doesn't like my dad's new wife. Finally, when she gets a chance to fight them, she at first was on my side. Then gonna pull a 180. She did this a lot. Gonna pull a 180 and be on their side. So you talk about how much she wanted to fight these people. When it was time to fight, she took their side. Then it was worse even later when I was hanging out with one of my cousins and my mom. My mom gonna talk about problems with my dad's wife, and then later some unpaid child support. I didn't want to hear about that. But yeah, that's things like that. Then I can't yell and scream at my mom when she messes up. But my mom can openly, and I'm still mad about this, and haven't been mentally sane since. My mom can openly lie to my face. My sister, when the person at my old place, when the person who was paying the house, when the person was paying the house, the various bills and stuff, left the house, I initially panicked and worried, moved out, I panicked and worried. My mom gonna sit up there and openly lied to my face, saying she's gonna get a new job in a certain area. Not only did she not get that new job, she wasn't even down there trying to get the job. Then I'm mad at the supplier for not only for supplying her for multiple months, but instead of supplying her for multiple months, how about you supply her for multiple months, then help her down there get that job. Neither one of these two were down there helping each other get the job, or down there trying to get the job. When I was trying to get the job before abandoning all the jobs for a better job that never came to be, which that was a mistake and something I should have never done. But we're talking about my parents, my mom wasn't even down there trying to get the job. When I was trying to get jobs, I was at least down there every day talking to people about these jobs, and before I foolishly abandoned them for something else, because I want this big time job will pay for two big time things that a big time job is required for. But I was okay at first with starting a small job. The lesson there was never take shortcuts to your goals. But we're talking about issues with my parents right there, and that's why, and that's the things my mom did. We get along better right now, but I'm just still mad. And like I said, I'm so mad and angry. I decided to add politics. I decided to add rants on politics. Rants on politics. Men's rights activism, and rants on social justice, Black Lives Matter, Black women, Me Too, and all that stuff as outlets for my intense rage and anger. Then you got my uncle. One day after a huge fight with my mom, I told my mom in 2014, if she ever makes me mad or cross me or does anything else I don't like, I am out of this place. I'd rather be poor and have nothing. I'd rather be poor and have nothing than live under the tyrannical rule of my mom and the rest of my family. That's how personal it is. My uncle first off gonna stop me. That's number one. That's the first bad thing he did. Stop me. He's gonna stop me at 29, at the time 29, 30-year-old person, 29-year-old human, gonna stop me from going somewhere. Two, gonna sit up there and try. One thing I cannot stand, especially with niggas and black people, a race I do not understand. I do not respect or see as wise. Them talking down to me like they're so superior. I hate black people and niggas with a freaking passion, man. I don't think of them, especially ones from my parents' age. So these people are 50 and 60 plus years old, especially ones from that especially ones from my parents' era. So these people are now 50 and 60 years old, or at least nearing 50 or nearing 60 years old, nearing 60 years old. The other generation, the 30s, which is my generation, and the 40s, they get on my nerves too. But I'm at least a lot closer to these generations, so I can find some common ground between these two. But these old motherfuckers, who I'm really sick of always hating on this generation and always teaching my generation, and worst of all, the current generations, which I think the current generation of brown people has been better than any generation of brown people. The younger and current generations after my generations are way better than any generation of brown people. Teaching these brown people to be hateful, racist, victimhood losers, wannabe victimhood losers like they were during their era. During their era, it's bad enough when you teach white black supremacy, but when you teach wrong black supremacy, and then you shove it down people's throats and teach and brainwash other people to be like you are, that's even more unforgivable. That's even more unforgivable. That's the second thing he did. The third thing he did was another bad thing my mom did. I deliberately said when we moved in 2011, we moved into our newest house, I immediately said, do not touch anything in the garage. Do not touch anything in the garage, because we're probably gonna have to do this again one day. And I want this move to be quick and fast. Unlike the previous move, which was terrible because my mom and the person who was helping my mom came in. I had everything organized, ready to be moved. My mom would sit up there. And come in, disrupt everything, organized, causing me to lose and misplace a lot of things. Some things I have never found because my mom came, just came in, and what's his name. Then another thing I can't stand, I forgot this. My mom gonna give me the speech about how it's how my mom and them gonna give me the speech how it's my mom gonna give me that crappy speech how moving is a part of life. Even though that would mean something. Too bad it's her doing. It was her fault. It was their fault we were moving in the first place. I hate when parents do that too. When it's their fault, and they constantly give you as part of life speech, or worse, to be thankful speech. When it's their fault, you're in this situation to begin with, man. You're in the situation to begin with. I can't stand parents. I can't stand arrogant adults like that. But I focus on the black people because they're the worst of the worst, man. They're the worst of the worst. No one is worse than them. No one is worse than them, man. So that's one thing I'm also getting sick of. Then you got next you got what's next, man? What's next? The house we were staying at, we didn't own the place. It was owned by a landlord. I looked and said no cleaning up in the garage. About 5 years later, in 2016, my uncle and mother and sister are quote unquote cleaning the garage, and because they cleaned the garage, lots of stuff were thrown away. And I immediately blamed my mom and sister. Was even gonna beat up my mom because I felt my mom was mocking my disability and insulting my intelligence. But no, it wasn't my mom. It was my uncle who threw away my stuff behind my back, and he threw away bags. Clothes, things, clothes, and a pair of skates. Things people use. A pair of skates and a old pair of my wrestling shoes, and he was throwing away multiple other stuff like my championship trophies, and some of my other clothes and gear. Had I not went down and retrieved them briefly in 2000, I did not down and retrieve them. But I deliberately said no cleaning up down there, and no cleaning up down there. Now, there was a landlord, so that place had to be a certain level of clean. Clean for that landlord, that inspector. Okay, then if we got to, we all clean together. They cleaned it without me. Therefore, I didn't get no say in what got thrown away or not. Then my uncle gonna have the audacity to tell me, "Oh, don't be mad. It will all be replaced." As if replacing everything is gonna completely make it better. And worst of all, telling me, the victim, not to be mad. Him, the victimizer, telling me, the victim, not to be mad. Motherfucker, shut up. I'll be mad at whoever I damn well please. And I'm mad at myself for doing this, but I just let him continue talk. I just chose to be quiet and let him continue talking, and hopefully he would shut up. I'm sick of adults like him, always walking around talking, thinking my generation, the future generations care and respect what you have to say. You're not wise, you're not brilliant, you're not anything. You're arrogant, immoral. You're arrogant, immoral, cowardly, weak, just everything lazy, everything bad about people is black people, especially from his era. So if you ever see you ever quote unquote see you ever quote unquote see me you ever quote unquote so if you ever see me on the news, you ever see me fight, you ever see me on the news, you ever see me on the news getting arrested or go weeks or I go weeks, months and no video activity, is that this is personal, it's constant personal issues between me and my own family, man. That's what it is. That's what it is. I said at first I plan to keep this stuff away from the YouTube world, but I promise with my brand new character, I promise realness, and I can't stand fake people and pretending everything is okay, and only showing the good but never showing the bad. Well, that's being fake, which I can't stand. So yeah, this was my parents, my sister and siblings is next. So once again, let me say my catchphrase. As always, you got a problem with these type of videos, I'm the one you call when you need your ass kicked. Call Douglas Blair Roberts, the Super Vader 400, the brown skin human. I will correct what your forefathers didn't do. They didn't kick your ass. I will kick your ass when we fight. So with that being said, you don't hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all. And one by one they all become number as before. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all become like a dog. You make me